Good day and welcome to this video lecture about algebra. In this video lecture, I will discuss about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of fractions. So let's start. Now let's focus first on adding and subtracting fractions. Let's begin first with an easy problems. Let's say we have 2 over 6 plus 5 over 6 and 7 over 3 minus 4 over 3. In addition and subtraction of fractions with the same denominator is simply done by adding or subtracting the numerator. So the answer for these examples are simply 7 over 6 and 3 over 3 or 1. Now how about if we have fractions with different denominator, like 3 over 4 plus 2 over 3, and 4 over 6 minus 2 over 5. How can we work on this kind of fractions? I will show you a simple technique. First multiply 4 and 3, and this will give you a common denominator of 12. Next is multiply 3 and 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. And then multiply 4 and 2, which is 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. So our answer is 17 over 12. Now how about subtraction? Let's use the same technique. So let's multiply the denominator 6 and 5, which is 30, and then multiply 4 and 5, which is 20, minus 6 times 2, which is 12. 20 minus 12 is 8. So our answer is 8 over 30. Now 8 and 30 is divisible by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 30 divided by 2 is 15. So the fraction will further reduce to 4 over 15. Now, how can we add or subtract 3 fractions? Let's say we have 2 over 5 plus 5 over 6 minus 3 over 4. Whenever you add or subtract fractions, the denominator has to be same value. So how can we get the common denominator of these 3 fractions? If you want to find the least common denominator, make a list of all the multiples. And these are the multiples of 4, 5, and 6. You will notice in the list that 60 is the least common multiple of the denominators 4, 5, and 6. Now granted that 120 is also a common multiple, and if you use 120, you can also get the right answer. You just got to simplify at the end. So if you are not sure about how to find the least common denominator, you can find any common denominator by simply multiply these 3 denominators. So 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 times 4 is 120. So let's use 120 as our common denominator. Now using a calculator, 120 divided by 5 is 24, times 2 is 48. Plus 120 divided by 6 is 20, times 5 is 100. Minus 120 divided by 4 is 30, times 3 is 90. So 48 plus 100 is 148. Then 148 minus 90 is 58. So our answer is 58 over 120. And this fraction is divisible by 2. So our final answer is 29 over 60. Even using 60 as our least common denominator, we can get the same answer of 29 over 60. But the simple technique to find the common denominator is simply multiply the denominators. Now let's move on to multiplication of fractions. Let's say we have 4 over 7 times 2 over 3. Multiplication of fractions is simple to do. Just multiply each numerator and each denominator. So 4 times 2 is 8 and 7 times 3 is 21. And our answer is 8 over 21. Sometimes the given fractions is a large number. Let's say we have 21 over 27 times 32 over 36. We can multiply across by multiplying 21 to 32, but it gives us a big number. So the first thing to do is to break down the large number into small numbers. So 21 is basically 7 times 3. And 27 is 9 times 3. 32 is 8 times 4. And 36 is 9 times 4. Now we can cancel 3 and 4. So our final answer is 56 over 81. So we were able to get the final answer without multiplying the large number. Let's try another one. Let's say we have 56 over 77 times 35 over 40. Now 56 is 8 times 7. And 77 is 11 times 7. Now multiply by 35, which is 7 times 5. And 40 is 8 times 5. So we can cancel 8, we can cancel 7, and we can cancel 5. Leaving the final answer is 7 over 11. Let's move on dividing fraction. Let's say we have 9 over 6 divided by 14 over 8. Now, when dividing fractions, you must flip the divider of the fraction. The denominator number 8 will be placed in the numerator, while the numerator number 14 will be placed in the denominator. The first fraction 9 over 6 will remain as it is. After flipping the fractions, you must change the divide symbol into multiplication symbol, and the new expressions is 9 over 6 times 8 over 14. Now to avoid multiplying large numbers, we will first break down the numbers into a small value. So 9 will be break down into 3 times 3. And 6 is 2 times 3. Then 8 into 2 times 4. And 14 into 2 times 7. Now we could cancel 3 and 2. And now we can multiply 3 times 4. And 2 times 7. Which give us 12 over 14. And this can further reduce by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. And so our final answer is 6 over 7. Let's solve one last problem. Let's say we have 25 over 36 divided by 55 divided by 48. Now you can flip the second fraction and change the division symbol by multiplication. So the expressions will be 25 over 36 times 48 over 55. Now to avoid multiplying large numbers, we will first break down the numbers into a small value. So 25 will be break down into 5 times 5. 36 into 6 times 6. 48 into 6 times 8. And 55 into 5 times 11. Now we can cancel 5 and we can cancel 6. Now we can multiply 5 and 8. And we can multiply 6 and 11. 5 times 8 is 40 and 6 times 11 is 66. You can further reduce the fraction by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. So our final answer is 20 over 33. That's all to this lecture. Thank you and please like and subscribe.